In Somalia, where militant group Al-Shabab has claimed responsibility for a purported bomb attack on a passenger plane in Somalia on February 2nd. In a statement on Saturday, the group claimed that the attack on the Daallo Airlines flight was part of an operation targeting dozens of Western intelligence officials and Turkish NATO forces. They also added that the operation was in retribution for crimes committed by the coalition of Western crusaders and their intelligence agencies against the Muslims of Somalia. A passenger identified as Abdisalam was killed, probably after being propelled out of the aircraft in the explosion. Two other passengers aboard the plane were also slightly injured. Well, let's get more details now from CCTV's Abdulaziz Bello, who's following this story for us. He's live for us in Mogadishu. Abdulaziz, it is now nearly 2 weeks since that incident in Mogadishu. So why has it taken so long for the Al-Shabab to claim responsibility? And are authorities there convinced that the group is indeed responsible for that attack?
Well, Penina, you're right. The Al-Shabab on all occasions admits responsibility for the slightest of the attacks that take place here in Mogadishu, be it a bombing, be it an assassination. The Al-Shabab always comes out openly to admit responsibility. But in this case, this was not the usual Al-Shabab attacks in the capital or in the country, because this was an attack on a passenger jet, the first time that the militant group really attacked a passenger jet from the Mogadishu International Airport. Now, interestingly is that we have UN flights, and also we have flights belonging to African Union that fly over Al-Shabaab controlled areas on most occasions, and sometimes they land even in areas controlled by AMISOM, but in close proximity to Al-Shabaab controlled areas, and they've never been attacked before. That's why this attack is a unique attack, and that's why the Al-Shabaab delayed in admitting responsibility. But what authorities here in Somalia in the first step said that this was a deliberate act of terror. It didn't want to give it another name, but it identified it as a deliberate act of terror. That's why Somali authorities, yes, they knew that this was a terrorist attack, but they waited for the investigations to be conducted, and that's why they finally admitted that this was an act of terror. But one thing that plays out here is the fact that the Al-Shabaab was enjoying a lot of media attention, because this news was going on for almost 2 weeks, and the Al-Shabaab will be more happy to hear them being mentioned on all media outlets. This is indeed a boost for them and shows that they are a group to reckon with, and they're not a dying force, as AMISOM and the Somali government here portrays. So another thing that can also be analyzed from this is the fact that the Al-Shabaab wanted to show the world that despite the millions of dollars that has been pumped into Somalia security forces, be it from AMISOM and the Somali intelligence and the police, they couldn't manage to control the Mogadishu International Airport, making it vulnerable for the Al-Shabaab to be able to access this facility. So, but the fact that Al-Shabaab claims that it targeted Western officials is a bit questionable in this case, because it targeted a Somali-owned Daallo Airbus 321 and not Turkish Airline, as it was expected of the bomber.
So only one person who is suspected to have been carrying the bomb was killed in that incident. So by claiming to have been targeting foreign officials on that plane, isn't Al-Shabaab indirectly admitting that the mission failed?
Well, Beatrice, that can be analyzed both ways at this stage. The Al-Shabaab indeed failed to bomb the Daallo Airbus, but experts here are saying that the bomber, Abdullahi Abdisalam Borle, the 55-year-old bomber who was sucked out of the plane, what if he boarded the Turkish airline, since he had a Turkish airline boarding pass on that day? People experts here are estimating that the attack could have been far worse if indeed the bomber would have boarded the Turkish airline. In this case, the Turkish airline is owned by Turkey, and Turkey has a strong presence here in Somalia. It's helping train the Somali security forces, and it has also built a permanent embassy here in Mogadishu. So experts are saying that if the bomber really boarded the Turkish airline, that the incident could have been far more deadlier, in the fact that we don't know where the bombing would have taken place, be it in Somali airspace, or will it have taken place in Djibouti or beyond that? Because if the attack had also happened in Djibouti, Djibouti also is a member of the troop contributing countries here for AMISOM. That's why experts here are saying that the Al-Shabaab might have failed in this attack, but it clearly shows that the group remains a lethal threat, in the sense that even the bomb that was smuggled to the plane was not able to be detected. That clearly depicts that the group has learned new attacking capabilities, and a more worry, more concern for Somali authorities, AMISOM, and also its international partners.
All right, Abdulaziz Bello live there in Mogadishu. Thank you.